Hello and welcome to News Across Nigeria. I'm Imana Amawe. Coming up on the program today. Police arrest suspected mastermind in Senate invasion as thugs remove the mace from the hallowed chamber. Reactions begin to trail the indefinite strike by the joint health sector unions. And the Ogundron Festival is here again. We'll find out what to expect from this year's event. Welcome to News Across Nigeria. Police in Abuja have arrested Senator Ovie Omoagege, the lawmaker believed to have led thugs to disrupt proceedings at today's plenary. He was picked up immediately he left the Senate chamber. It's not clear if the mace has been retrieved. The thugs invaded the Red Chamber this morning and snatched the mace, an action considered to be treasonable. In a statement released by the Senate spokesman, Senator Aliyu Abdullahi, the upper chamber accused their suspended senator of being the mastermind. This would be the first time in the history of the National Assembly that such a brazen action would be happening. According to the statement, and I quote, "This action is an act of treason as it is an attempt to overthrow a branch of the federal government of Nigeria by force, and it must be treated as such." This action is also an affront on the legislature, and the leadership of the House has come to express their support against the action. After the invasion, the Senate went into a closed-door session, but plenary has since resumed with a substitute mace. It was a topic of major discussion when the Senate resumed plenary.
Well, very distinguished colleagues, I'd like to welcome everybody back. And for the interest of Nigerians and the entire world, let me quickly announce that at about 11:30 a.m. this morning, some thugs invaded the hallowed chambers of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Let me say that this Senate will deal with it fully. For today, in accordance with our mandate to represent the people of Nigeria, we sit here and we exhaust everything on our other papers. So I just want to appeal for patience, even if it means sitting here at 6 p.m. today. We'll deal with everything on our other papers, and let me assure Nigerians that we refuse to be intimidated by anybody because we're elected to do this work. I want to appeal that those behind this should not take our democracy for granted. And we're going to do everything humanly possible to ensure that this will never happen again in this parliament. So once more, I welcome everybody back, and let us get into the business of the day. The leader.
Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu. Now our correspondent Linda Akigbe will give us further details on today's event at the Senate.
Plenary is underway at the moment. The Senate has resolved that they would continue the plenary and finish every single item on the order paper. Now, before, just about 15 minutes ago, members of the House of Representatives, led by the Deputy Speaker, came into the plenary, to the Senate chamber in solidarity with the Senate over what transpired. And they have said unanimously, that's the Senate and the House of Representatives, they have given the Inspector General of Police and the DSS 24 hours to recover the mace. We learned that some sergeants at arms were injured, and then the Deputy Senate President said that two senators were almost abducted by the unidentified thugs who came into the Senate chamber.
Well, let's get the legal implications of this. Joining us live is a legal practitioner, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Paul Ananaba. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Ananaba. Well, what do you make of today's events at the National Assembly?
Well, just as other Nigerians and people all over the world are watching. It's a disgraceful act. I couldn't believe that we could degenerate to this point in this country. It's a shame that the hallowed chambers of the Senate, the Red Chamber, could be invaded. And the questions that arise is the Senate sitting in a public place? Is it not within the Aso Rock area? What happened to security? How could these hoodlums have gained entrance and also seated with the Mace? It's something that's worrisome. It's unlawful, and I believe that the security agencies should take appropriate steps and get to the root of this matter and ensure that these hoodlums are gotten and they should disclose where and how they got into this Senate and brought this national disgrace to every one of us.
This is the first time in the history of the National Assembly that there's been such a brazen invasion on the institution. What are the legal implications of this breach of security?
Well, it goes to show that a lot has to be done by the government to protect, because if the National Assembly can be invaded in this manner, it means that anywhere in this country can be invaded by this sort of unknown person. Remember that in the country we've been battling with insecurity so much. But for it to get to the floor of the Senate, by persons who are not members of the Senate, how did they get there? So it's a very serious legal issue to be looked at by the security agencies in this country. I think this should not be allowed to happen again, and those who are responsible for this should not be allowed to go scot-free.
Now, the Senate has come out to say that Senator Omo Agege is the mastermind behind the snatching of the Mace, and he's been arrested by the police. If indeed he is found guilty, what do you think will happen to him as a lawmaker?
Well, I don't want to be preemptive, but I believe that since watching from the television, there's a prima facie belief that these people were walking down with him. If he has been arrested, I believe that the security agencies will follow through. Remember that by our constitution, he's still innocent. But despite the fact that he's innocent, he should be interrogated. And everyone else that was captured within the Senate chambers that came in then we should get to who took this first, the vehicles they used, and how they came in and how they left. Who was where? What about the gates? What about the CCTVs and all that? So we should get on to that. But since a senator has been arrested, he should be interrogated. We should get to the root of it. He should not be victimized unnecessarily, but we should, as an honorable member of the Senate, we should tell Nigerians what they knew about that incident. Okay.
Now, we cannot totally or entirely separate the events that led up to the build-up today of the seizure of the Mace. Is it morally correct and constitutional for the Senate to have suspended or compelled a duly elected senator to vacate his seat and deny his people of representation?
Okay, those are issues of law. But prior to the issue of law, there was politics going on with the amendments and all that. I'm not going to discuss politics because I'm not a politician. Well, I'm going to say that there are three arms of government. The judiciary is the proper party that will interpret whether what the Senate did was right or wrong. And I can tell you that if we begin to take laws into our hands in this country, we won't get far. We'll become a mockery object to both Nigerians and globally. The point I'm making is that if the Senate did this rightly or wrongly, should be subjected to the judiciary to interpret. Now, there was a decision in reference of a former senator that was removed, and the judiciary has said, well, it is not proper to remove such senator for more than 7 days and all that.
All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ananaba. Thank you very much, Mr. Paul Ananaba, for sharing your thoughts with us on the program. Well, we'll take a moment now. When News Across Nigeria returns, Nigerian Medical Association dismisses Joint Health Sectors Union as an illegal body. Details in a moment.